Bonjour les amis. Bonjour, welcome to Paris. This is Vero. And this morning I am back in my old stomping grounds in the 17th arrondissement. We will call this the Aussie Kiwi Stroll because I know many friends of mine are still sleeping. But that's okay, they can catch the replay later. I wanted to live stream so that everyone can be here live. And I know it's not always easy in some parts of the world. Hey Roz, you're here. I was hoping you'd be here. Welcome. Aussie's in the house. Excellent. Excellent. So we'll get this party started if you'd like. I'm meeting a friend for lunch in the neighborhood or nearby, let's just say. And I just arrived via the metro. Métro Villiers is the stop. I'll put all that information in the video notes as soon as it comes up on Facebook, so you'll have all that info there. This is the Dome, which is a great cafe, restaurant, great bistro in the neighborhood. So for those of you who remember, I lived in this neighborhood during the second and third lockdowns for about 7 months and moved to the Loire Valley in May. So I've been gone for 5 months. Time flies. But I thought I'd share with you this wonderful street here. This is my favorite market street in Paris. I know everyone always talks about Rue Claire, which is a beautiful street as well with some very high-end shops. But there are other market streets in Paris. I've taken you to a couple of them over the last few months, but this is my favorite. And I lived here, and this market street was always lively. In spite of the lockdowns, because when all the non-essential stores were closed, like this one, for example, but that sells socks and things like that, well, you had so many food merchants here that this street always had people around, and it was very important during the lockdowns because it was such a drag. It was so depressing to be locked up in our apartments. And I live literally nearby. So you won't see a lot of people walking around now because it's right after 11. It gets really busy at noon, 1 p.m. or so, and then on Saturdays as well. But I'm going to try and show you some of my favorite merchants here that I used to patronize. This poissonnerie, fishmonger, La Fine Marée, is pretty well known. They have really nice things. This Italian traiteur or deli saved my life many times when I didn't want to cook. They have excellent Italian food. Here's some of the selection here. I loved their tourte. Tourte in France is like a big savory pie. And in fact, this was my favorite. It's made with aubergine, eggplant, and a slice of this would last me 2 meals. It was so good. So you'll hear some honking. Right now we don't have that many shoppers, but we do have a lot of delivery trucks. So this is what you're hearing. So if you're ready to visit this great market street, La Rue de Lévis, then I will take you. We were lucky to have 2 Monoprix stores. The one on the right here is the food Monoprix, and the one on the left is everything else. So not just one store, 2, which was handy during the lockdowns because this store on the left would be closed since it was considered non-essential on and off, while the other one on the right was open. Welcome friends, bonjour, bonjour. My European friends are here. Those of you visiting Paris are here. Aussies, Kiwis are here, and Americans will catch up later. You see this beautiful La Rue des Dames, one of the oldest streets. I've taken you on a couple of strolls where I mentioned La Rue des Dames, one of the oldest in the neighborhood. And look at this, the street art there, the street of the ladies. How perfect, right? La Rue des Dames. So my apartment was at the end of this, like around the corner, 5 minutes away from here. So I'd be here all the time on my way to the metro. La Rue de Lévis is one of the oldest streets in Paris. It's been around forever, and it's been a lively street with a lot of food merchants since the Middle Ages at least. Bonjour. Bonjour, monsieur. You have signs of gentrification in this neighborhood like you do all over Paris and all over big cities around the world. La Meringue, that sells meringue-based pastries, is one of them. Olivier et Compagnie, a chain, is also, so you see those stores, but deep down, La Rue de Lévis remains a laid-back street where everybody rubs shoulders here. You have a few tourists. It's not a touristy area, but you do have a few tourists now that they're back. But you mostly have locals, and people come from other neighborhoods in Paris. Here's a pâtissier boulanger del Montel. This is one of the butchers I used. We have several along the street. And all of the butchers, of course, have the rotisserie chicken that you see here with a reflection, not ideal. There it is here. And they have they pre-package everything in the morning, so that's really handy. Now the rain wasn't part of the plan. It's not supposed to arrive quite yet, but I can feel a few raindrops. I have my umbrella, so if worse comes to worse, I'll take it out. Everybody's kind of wearing their rain gear already. Here's another chain here. You have Jeff de Bruges, Belgian chocolate. I'm trying to decide if I want to take out my umbrella or not. And this little dead end here kind of harks back to the old times here in this neighborhood. You have some of these little alleyways. There's a tiny little hotel, Hôtel du Progrès, on the right-hand side, and you do have those little courtyard, I would say, or dead-end streets around. Welcome, my friends. If you just joined us, we are taking a stroll along my favorite market street in Paris, La Rue de Lévis, L-E-V-I-S, which is located in the 17th arrondissement. Naturalia, a big chain, very popular right now, like a lot of the shops selling bio. You see bio on the window. It stands for biologique, which is organic and local. I used to buy some produce here. Some clothing stores, inescapable. They're everywhere in Paris. If you've been to the Marais recently, you know that. This was my butcher, La Boucherie Centrale Lévis. The nicest people, the best things. They even have ready-made salads. I bought the big roast we made at Christmas at my parents' here. It was stuffed with mushroom, absolutely delicious. I ordered it here. It was really good. Look, they have rabbit. You see lapin? That's rabbit. Caille is quail. Caille farci is stuffed quail. A lot of good things. And of course they have the rotisserie chicken. Delicious. So a great address along the street to this butcher shop. A lot of produce sellers like this, and La Rue de Lévis stands apart because they still do what a lot of places don't do anymore, which is la vente à la criée. They basically shout out to passers-by and try to convince you to buy from them. A bit old-fashioned, but I like that. Nicolas, the famous wine store chain. They're always good advice. If you don't know what to choose or what to bring to a friend's place, prices are very good. Another primeur, P-R-I-M-E-U-R, Le Petit Jardin. Very friendly as well, the family runs it. And the type of real estate architecture you see a lot in Paris, and especially in the 17th arrondissement. On the right-hand side, the type of buildings you come to expect in Paris, and on the left-hand side, the more type of working class type of buildings you would find in many neighborhoods, especially up to in the 19th century. You see lower buildings, just 2 or 3 floors, and this area was not high-end. It was working class, and in many ways, there's a lot of diversity around here, at least when people shop. Another boulanger, La Maison Julien. And then you have a few cafes. I showed you the Dôme at the beginning. You have La Succursale, the branch here. It was so sad when they were closed for 7 or 8 months, and I would just walk past and it was closed always. They would serve to go, but it was different, of course. Couldn't sit en terrasse. Le Petit Jardin. And you can see mushroom is in season. cèpe, girolles, pieds de mouton, trompette, pleurote, chanterelle. That's a nice selection. Beautiful tomatoes. More clothing. This was my fromager, la fromagerie. And it says there's a sign right above the door that says Maison fondée en 1959, so that business was founded in 1959. It's a family business. They have a really nice selection, and it's not overwhelming, and they always give you advice if you don't know what to choose. You have your Yves Rocher cosmetics place. That's very, very French, not as well known abroad as the one on the right, which is Sephora, but Yves Rocher, all French women have used Yves Rocher at one point in time, either as a spa or for their wonderful products that were organic before it was trendy to be organic. Yves Rocher founded that trend actually many, many decades ago. Great quality for the price. Highly encourage you to try their products. Bonjour madame. She was surprised to hear me speak English, so she turned around. So a lot of these buildings were added at the turn of the 20th century. Some of them are dated, and the architecture can be quite impressive. But it's kind of a mix, right? You have elegant buildings, and you have more, I'd say, more humble facades. Now, my club members may remember the stroll. I took them on an exclusive stroll of the street at Christmas time, right before Christmas, and all the Christmas lights were on. It was just beautiful. I really like La Belle Illoise. This is une conserverie, so everything they sell has been canned. It comes from Brittany, and if you've never tried their products, I highly encourage you to. Their products make great gifts to bring home as well. For apéritif, for apéro, they have a lot of spreads. They make soups. They have an entire section in the back here that says pour l'apéritif, and you see the sizes, very easy to bring home. So it's called La Belle Illoise from Brittany. And it's a chain. You can find them in different cities in France. Also a family business, very traditional business. More fall produce here, mushroom, ooh, and beautiful châtaigne, chestnuts and grapes, les raisins. Aren't they beautiful? There's a sign that I like here. Bonjour. Je suis le fruit de la nature, je suis fragile et délicat. I am the fruit of nature, I am fragile and delicate. Ne me tâtez pas si fort, don't press me so hard. Caressez-moi plutôt, caress me instead, pour mieux me déguster, so you can savor me better. Merci d'avance, thank you in advance. So a good reminder that when you go and see produce at outdoor markets in France, you do not touch. You wait for the gentleman to help you. They don't like people touching the products, and especially fresh produce. The same applies to boutiques very often. La Famille Marie, also a family business specializing in honey. They have stores in different places. I'm sure you've tried them. Oh, we have a pet store. Two Tails. Forgot we had this one here. Probably because I don't have a pet anymore. Sometimes people ask me, they go to those fancy chocolate shops all over Paris, the famous ones. Well, I like to say that each neighborhood has good chocolatier, and this one is one of them, Hubert Mas, le cacaotier. Excellent, excellent chocolate shop. Very, very fine chocolate. I would always get it as gifts. So if you come to the Rue de Lévis, don't hesitate. The lady is very helpful. She will tell you what to get. You have some Eiffel Towers here. Do you see them? They're 14 euros. And he has traditional things, but he also has his own. And he's won several awards. You can also buy les tablettes de chocolat. This is what we refer to as une tablette, like a table, tablette. And you can see they come from around the world. Really good stuff. Some pretty macarons in the window, the reflection. So it's not a super long street, but it's a very good street because it has a lot. In fact, it has everything you need to run errands. You can even buy clothing here, makeup, whatever you need. And with the Monoprix, why go anywhere else? Lévis Marais, another poissonnier or fishmonger. Look at the beautiful huîtres, oysters. Look, these are called Utah Beach. Les Fines de Claire, which are kind of high-end. Those are very nice oysters. And then other type of shellfish. Les gambas, the prawns. Look at the size of the Madagascar ones. They're huge. More clothing, tennis shoes. Gotta have your white sneakers, friends. Remember the days when Americans were afraid to wear white sneakers, and other visitors as well, for that matter? Well, those days are long gone. You're not cool in Paris and in France if you don't own a pair of white sneakers, and if they're Stan Smith, even better. Everybody wears white sneakers, all age groups, but you might be surprised at this. It's not just white sneakers, and it's not just coordinated sneakers. It's also New Balance and other brands in bright colors that people will tend to match, women will tend to match with their outfit. So olive green will be a popular one, navy blue, and you'll see them walk around, and again, all ages. Oh, well, I'm glad you're enjoying this stroll. This is fun. It's fun for me too to be back along the great Rue de Lévis. Lévis Fleurs, beautiful florist. On Saturdays, they also sell flowers along the street. We have a couple of really good markets in this area as well. Les Halles de Lévis. They're being very quiet. Typically, they'd be shouting out at people. Here is a bookstore. I remember ordering books when they were closed. They could only do takeaway or whatever it was called, click and collect. So I ordered a few books. People were doing that to keep them in business, and we would pick them up and then go home with the books. Fun times. So this is the part where the Rue de Lévis ends. It continues over there, but it's not as fun. You do have more businesses there, but the food part of the shopping, I'd say, would be in this area, this section between the Métro Villiers and this little square here. Hear the construction going. And here is that little square, also named after Lévis. And I love this little square because there is a daycare over there called Les Petits Chaperons Rouges, after a famous French tale. And, around 4 or 5 p.m., you have a lot of kids coming out. The moms are waiting on those benches you see here. And we have a beautiful Wallace fountain, one of many. I like this. Busy unloading their produce. Now, a good thing that this neighborhood also has is a Picard, the frozen food chain. And in fact, I filmed a video inside the store right before Christmas when they had all the Christmas stuff out, and they let me film inside, which was really nice of them. So you can find that video in a playlist called French Life, where I put a lot of the food-related videos on my YouTube channel. So don't hesitate to go and subscribe, the France with Vero YouTube channel. And in fact, I think there's a map somewhere. There is a map. I'll show you where we are. Because some of you may not be familiar with the 17th arrondissement. It remains off the main tourist path. It's a little bit out of the way compared to other arrondissements. So here's the beautiful Parc Monceau, where I took you on many strolls. And we are right here, so you can see it's not far. And I arrived at Métro Villiers, which is right about here. And here is the Rue de Lévis, right? So it continues, like I said. And then if you keep going in this direction, which is what I'm going to do to meet my friend, you would reach a lovely square or public garden called the Square des Batignolles. And this entire neighborhood, an old village outside Paris known as Les Batignolles, quite gentrified now, quite touristy as well. Lots of restaurants, cafes there. So a lot to do in the 17th arrondissement. Don't hesitate to come here. The hammering is just non-stop. Everybody's working. Voilà, mes amis, I hope you've enjoyed this impromptu stroll around, or along, I should say, the beautiful Rue de Lévis. I might pop up or pop by in the Square des Batignolles in just a little while on Instagram, because I try to balance it out so everybody gets a peek. Some people don't like Facebook, some people don't like Instagram. And club members, I will meet you tomorrow for our special event on YouTube at 4 p.m. Paris time. I did check the time this time, and you should have received the private link for that. So if you haven't, reach out to me before Saturday, and I will be happy to forward it to you. Behind me is a Wallace fountain. I'm trying to show it to you. There you go. The Wallace Fountain is right here behind me. How Parisian is that? You may remember I started a live stream here. I did so many live stream virtual tours in the 17th arrondissement, so much history. And the stories are not well known at all. So if you head to the replays on my YouTube channel, you will find several tours that took place in this neighborhood, especially in the beautiful Plaine Monceau that used to be a high-end neighborhood right behind me next to the Parc Monceau. I told you a story about famous courtesans and actresses like Sarah Bernard, and I showed you some incredible architecture that's just 5 minutes away from here. And I do believe one of these tours started right where I'm standing. So, one last peek at the Rue de Lévis. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Ours will be very soggy and windy. We have high winds coming from the UK, and they are about to reach France probably this afternoon or tomorrow. So we are bracing for that. À bientôt les amis.